It's not sorcery, it's not voodoo, it's none of those things, okay? There's no magic lamp, okay? These are things that you were given, okay? The kingdom is within, and you were given these things to be able to bring into existence the things that you imagine here, the things that you think, okay? Thoughts become things. Everything starts in thought, okay? Now, you need to be in the proper state in order to manifest things into your world, okay? Because it's not about, when you pray, for example, it's not about what you say. It's not about how you say it. It's about how you feel. Good morning. Good morning, Sarah. I get to see Sarah today. Okay. Welcome, Sarah. So, you know, it's about how you feel, which determines what kind of life you receive. Okay, now if someone is always kept in fear, if someone is always kept in doubt, or let's say they doubt themselves and they're kept in fear, okay, they're kept from their manifestations, okay, or let's say it another way, they're kept from the good manifestations, and they begin to manifest things out of fear and doubt. Okay, we went over that yesterday about your subconscious and your reticular activating system and how that will bring things of fear. Okay, it will bring things to fear and it will bring things to doubt. Because your reticular activating system goes, oh, we're focused on that. Okay, we'll bring more of that. And it amplifies those things. So everything around you is good and bad. All the good stuff is there, all the bad stuff is there. Okay, but when your reticular activating system gets the impulse that you're seeking these bad things, it's going to show more of them to you. Okay, that's just like that phenomenon when you focus on a red convertible. Let's say it's a BMW, a red BMW convertible. Okay, and you see it online, you think it's cool, you think it's nice, right? You look at it, wow, that's a cool car, and you focus on it. Okay, pretty soon your reticular activating system goes, oh, that's what you want? Okay. And then, okay, it starts here. Okay, it starts here. People are unaware of this. Okay, they're unaware that this is how it works. It starts here, and then the algorithm starts feeding you more of it. Okay, when the algorithm feeds you more of it, because that's a computer thing, that's online thing, right? That's a social media platform thing. It'll show more of it to you. Okay, but your reticular activating system is seeing that. It is being trained. And what does it do out here in the real world? Well, when you put this down and you go outside, okay, it's a filter. And now it filters that red convertible to you. And you go, wow, there's one over there. Right? When you're driving down the street, hey, there's one over there. Oh, there's one parked in the parking lot over there. Wow, there's another one. I never knew there were so many red BMW convertibles. They were always there. Okay, but maybe when you passed, you were looking at the blue cars or other cars or maybe no cars. But now, because you're focused on it, your reticular activating system goes, okay, we're going to focus on red BMW convertibles. And why is this important in manifestation? Because when you're focused on something, okay, all you need to do is applied focus. When you're focused on something, it will show you more of that. So if you're focused on opportunities, if you're focused on income, if you're focused on projects, if you're focused on those things, you get shown more of those things. All of a sudden, opportunities come, right? And then when you get in a slump, a real literal slump, right? You're not feeling good. You're like, oh, yeah, I'm not into anything today. Guess what happens? That's your focus. Okay? More of that comes. And what happens? That feeling lasts longer. Okay? And this is why you need to cheer yourself up. Okay? You need to change your thinking. Okay? In the moment or permanently. Now, if you want to do it permanently, you have to change the beliefs in your subconscious. Okay? But kindness, we're going to talk about kindness today. Okay? Kindness has been part of my business model. Okay? In all four of my companies, ever since each one was started. Okay? It was from the first one. And what does that mean? Well, for my companies, we have service companies. Okay, we have a product company. We're not active with the product company, but we have service companies. So in our service companies, it means free time. Okay, and when it comes to my business, when it comes to my clients, I put my money where my mouth is because it's my life. It's my time. Your time is your life. So the question is, how much of your life are you willing to give for your profession? How much time of your life are you willing to invest in someone else? For my life, it's been considerable. Okay. Now, what is that? Well, it's kindness. What does kindness do? Kindness is energetic alignment. Energetic alignment. Okay. So when someone is trying to manifest something, okay, I made notes today, so I'm going to try and get to all of my notes. Good morning, guys. Good morning. So when someone's trying to manifest something, right, you need to be in the proper state. If you're angry, let's say, or let's say you have any of the negative emotions, worry, okay, doubt, okay, let's say despair, envy. I have a whole list over here. Okay, all of those things, jealousy, envy, right, that kind of thing. And you're trying to manifest something. Let's say you're trying to achieve a goal, okay, we could say it that way. It's not going to happen. Why? Because there's conflict with the negative emotion. Okay? So you're attempting to move from a state of lack into a state of receiving, into a state of abundance. But it can't happen because the negative emotions are pulling you back like this. Okay? They're not it's not necessarily pulling you back. That's a illustration, okay? That's an animation. Like that, okay? But it's in conflict, so it's canceling each other out like this. Okay? That's the same thing I told you in your subconscious. God can only grant you what's in your subconscious, and God will grant you what's in your subconscious. God does not judge. Are you full of fear? So God goes, okay, we'll give you more stuff to fear. Okay? If you love in your subconscious, God will go, okay, we'll give you more stuff to love. And you'll get the things that you love. Why? Because you're focused on love. Because in here, in the kingdom, okay, Jesus Christ said the kingdom is within. Okay, and the reason why I mention the Bible all the time and quotes from the Bible all the time is because I have a lot of Christians on my account, but those of you that are not Christians can get tons of wisdom from the Bible. Okay, tons. It applies to like everyone in everyday life. It's not just religious dogma. Okay, but you have to understand the esoteric meaning. Because when you understand the esoteric meaning, you go, oh, it's talking about in here, the spirit within, in here, the God in me. Yeah. So whether you want to call it God or you want to call it source, you want to call it universe, it's all the same thing. We're all the same in here. We all have the same power in here. Okay, but if you're going to get caught up in the story, okay, there's tons of stories, okay? You get caught up in the stories, you'll miss the whole thing. So do your homework. Go check, go read, go study. Okay? Those of you that go to church, you're not going to hear this in church. You're not going to hear this in Sunday school. Okay? But go check it out. Okay? Because the information is on your phone. It's on your laptop. It's on your tablet. Okay? Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning, Sarah Mack. So, energetic alignment. What is energetic alignment? Remember I told you when your conscious mind, subconscious, and superconscious are in alignment, okay, it's so much easier to manifest anything, right? Because you have to have that alignment. And kindness shifts the internal state, okay, from contraction, okay, like this, okay, to expansion like this. Why? Because you're giving. Because you're giving. Okay? When you're resentful, when you're jealous, when you're bitter, okay, or angry, your nervous system tightens like this. Okay? You ever notice what happens when you get angry? How tight you are, and then you start shaking. Okay, we talked about that a few weeks ago. When you're angry and you shout, what happens? You throw your spirit, your energy in here. You throw it out like that. And what happens? You shake. You literally shake. Why? Because you've thrown your energy out. You've thrown your spirit out there. Now what has to happen? Now you have to regroup. Now you have to settle in again. Okay? Because you threw yourself out there. And then pretty soon the shaking stops. And then you're okay. Now you're good again. You see? Okay, so your central nervous system is very, very important. Okay? When you're around somebody that, hi butterfly, good morning. Butterfly RM28, when you're around somebody that has bad energy, what part of the body does it attack first? Mind? Not necessarily. Okay, because you can pick up, you can, hi user, good morning. Yes, pick up the pieces. Well, hopefully there's no pieces to pick up, but yes, you recover. Butterfly, yeah, it doesn't necessarily attack the mind first, okay? Because there's the heart chakra that sends off the biggest vibration, and sometimes it can affect that. It can affect the heart. Good morning, Manuel. Okay, so your body moves into survival mode when it tenses up like this, okay? And these are all the negative emotions: fear, doubt, okay? Worry. When you're worried, you tense up when you're worried, okay? Do you think you're happy and open when you're worried? No, it's the other way around, okay? Thank you, butterfly. So, when you tense up like this is your parasympathetic nervous system going, something's up, something's wrong, something's not right here, something's up. Okay? And you shift into survival mode, and you cannot manifest like this. Why? Because you're not open to receiving. You're tense. You're like this. Okay? When you're tense, it's not conducive to receiving. In order to receive, you have to be open. In order to receive, you have to trust. Okay? Be open, be trusting, allow, all of those things like that. Okay? Because otherwise you're gonna be like this, right? You know, when you get fearful, right? You can feel it, right? You can feel that in your body. That's your central nervous system going, hey, I'm uneasy. Something's not right. Okay. So your subconscious will scan, okay, for threat, not opportunity in that case. Okay? But when you practice genuine kindness, okay? Just to be nice for the sake of being nice, not being nice for the sake of gaining something from someone. Okay, that means you're conning somebody. That means you're being nice so that you can get something from somebody. That's not authentic. But when you practice genuine kindness, your physiology begins to change. Okay? Your nervous system changes. Your reactions change. Your subconscious looks for pathways towards what you are enacting. Okay? What you are being and becoming in the moment. And if it's kindness, it will look for avenues and other opportunities for you to be kind. So we do this in all of our companies. I give extra time to people because my time is my life. And I'm serious about what I do. Okay? I believe in what I do. I heal a lot of anxiety. I heal a lot of parasympathetic nervous system symptoms. Okay. But we make no medical claims. I have to say that. Okay. I have to say that. So, what are the benefits? Well, your heart rate steadies. Your heart rate, yeah. Stress hormones drop. Okay. Oxytocin increases when you're kind. What is oxytocin? Oxytocin is the bonding hormone. Your neurotransmitters fire oxytocin when you do the vocalization exercise. But just the act of kindness, just being kind to somebody, just giving somebody something. Here in Hawaii, it's part of our culture to give. It's part of our culture to be kind. Okay, it's called the aloha spirit. Okay, we have a name for it. It's called the aloha spirit. Aloha is love, aloha is giving, aloha is empathy, aloha is understanding, aloha is kindness. Okay? All of these things, they're synonymous. Okay? They're synonymous with the same energy. And it's this energy that opens you up instead of closes you like this. Okay? So the negative emotions will make you tense up. Your parasympathetic nervous system will tense up. But when you're giving, when you're kind can be a kind word. You don't have to give something, like monetary. You don't have to give up one of your possessions. You can just be nice to somebody. Just treat them kindly. Say something nice. But I can tell you out of experience, one year, I think at our very peak, we donated $42,000 of time at my voice school. We didn't track the time that we gave away for Here For You life coaching, but we did for the voice school. It was $42,000 in 1 year. Okay, so what we did was we took the amount that we gave and we just added up the retail value. But we always did this. We always took care of people with talent that didn't have enough money or that couldn't afford training. That kind of thing. Because there was a time when I couldn't afford things like guitar lessons that I wanted to take, so I never did. I had to teach myself. And now I'm too busy. I'm too busy to take guitar lessons. Okay. But I'm just saying, when you incorporate kindness in your lifestyle, just as a rule, your life changes. And you begin to manifest, or let's say, bring better things into your world. Okay, so you become open instead of guarded. Okay, because when you tense up, when your central nervous system tenses up, okay, and that can be fear, that can be doubt, that can be anger, it can be worry. Okay, when you're worried about things, or when you have anxiety. Okay, when you have anxiety, you can feel the electricity in you. You can feel it. Okay? And that means you're tensing up. That means you're guarded. Okay? Open, guess what happens? Your voice comes out more. Your feelings come out more. Why? It has to do with your nerves, okay? So and we talked about this the other day, so I'm not going to go into it too much. Okay? But there's the vagus nerve. It's one of the 12 cranial nerves that comes down and goes through your throat chakra and into your heart chakra and then kind of fans out like that. Okay? And what happens is when you open the throat chakra, the heart chakra is next. And when you open your heart, okay, and I'm talking about vibrationally, okay? I'm not talking about, not talking about giving all your possessions away or anything like that, right? But when you open your heart, now kindness is easy to do. Giving is easy to do. Saying nice things is easy to do. Expressing your feelings is easy to do. Why? Because now you're open instead of guarded. Most people walk around guarded. Why? Because of experience. Because we've been hit over the head by somebody for being nice to them, or we've been betrayed by somebody, or whatever. Somebody turned on us, said, what? That kind of thing, right? So life brings us these experiences, and we need to counter them. What's the alternative? Well, if you don't counter these things, you're going to remain like that. And then what happens to the abundance? It doesn't come. It disappears. Or it just comes in small little bits here and there. Sporadic. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, Nicola. Okay. So when your oxytocin increases, what happens? That's the bonding hormone. That's the connection hormone. You feel connected. You start to bond. Okay, so connection happens from the right hemisphere of the brain, not the left. The left is the ego. So this is another reason why you have to migrate from the ego into the right brain, the right hemisphere of the brain. This is why Jesus sits at the right hand of the Father and not the left. Okay, that's esoteric knowledge. You're not going to hear that in Sunday school. Okay, they won't teach you that in church. But it's that connection with the right side that's necessary. The right hemisphere of your brain, connection, imagination, intuitive thought, creativity, right hemisphere of the brain. Okay, that's where God lives. Who lives on the left side? The ego. Okay, that's where you get logic. The ego. The ego always thinks it knows best. And the ego will drive you if you allow it. But when you learn to subdue the ego, you can go, no, we're going to move to the right for this. It depends on what it is. If you're doing math calculations, you want to be in the left brain. Okay? We switch left to right all the time. But if you intentionally want to pull these good things to you, you need to go to the right. That's where connection is. That's where you connect to God. When you meditate, that's where you go. So kindness dissolves resistance. Kindness dissolves resistance. Okay? Hesitation is resistance. Are you hesitating something, whatever it is? Are you hesitating to give? Are you hesitating to learn? Are you hesitating to whatever it is? And at the very root of all of that is fear. All the negative emotions are rooted in fear. So if you're hesitating to do something, there's something associated with fear in it, or of it, or concerning it. Are you procrastinating? Are you putting something off? When you put things off like that, there's resistance. You're resisting it. You're putting it off. But there's fear attached to it. It's a negative emotion. So what is the fear element of it? All you need to do is ask your subconscious. It will answer you. Ask your subconscious, why am I putting this off all the time? Why am I putting off going to whatever, right? Going to the store or whatever it is, or a certain store or whatever, right? Why am I putting this off? And you might be driving down the street one day, or you might be in the shower, you might be cooking, boom, it comes to you. Ask, believe in your asking, and you shall receive. I ask all day long. I ask questions. I'm not asking for things. Sometimes I ask for things, but most of the time I'm asking for divine guidance. And it's really simple. Okay? It's not rocket science. It's like, what do I do, Lord? what I do, Father God. I say Father God a lot. What do I do about this, Father God? Show me. And then I let it go. And pretty soon I'll be, in my day or working with clients, and boom, it'll hit me and I write it down. So write things down. It's important to write things down. Okay? It's important to organize your life, at least a little. Okay? I know it's not fun. It's not fun because, well, you have to write this out and you have to do this. It reminds you of school, right? Because you have to write things down, write it out. But it's not hard to do. Organization is priceless because you're either going to live an organized life, okay, or you're going to live this random existence that's going to drive you crazy. So any internal friction that you have, any internal resistance, is going to hinder manifestation. Okay? In other words, you're going to manifest whether it's resistance or not. Okay? But if it's resistance, think about it. If it's resistance, you're going to manifest those things. Because if you're in the act of resisting, or if you're in the act of putting up resistance, and you want the good things, or whatever, okay, it's going to be out here. It can't get to you because you're putting up resistance. You know those guys that are working 3 jobs, push, 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 go, 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 and then burnout. I pull a lot of professionals out of burnout very quickly. It takes 3 months. But once they complete the 3 months, they're good. They never get burnout again because they learn how to manage this one. Okay, this is important to learn this. Okay, we learn things out here in the physical world. We learn man-made processes. We learn man-made formulas. We learn man-made policies. We learn man-made schedules. Okay, but what about God-made? When you focus on the kingdom, when you focus on in here, you're not your body, you're not your name. You're that spirit that lives in here. Okay? When you come from the spiritual world in here, it supersedes anything built in the physical world. Things come to you regardless. It doesn't matter what system you're in. You can be in the world and not of the world. Christians say that. Okay? We say you can be in the world and not of the world. You can walk by faith and not by sight. Why is that important? Because faith is knowing. Sight is looking at the man-made things and going, okay, we're going to put our faith in that. We're going to follow that. And when you do that, that's what the definition of lost is. Why is it lost? Because now you believe in this, and now it's taking you away from this. And if you're out here like this, okay, you have taken your spirit and you say, okay, the belief is going to be out here instead of in here because God lives in here. God is not out there. Okay. The only thing out there is nature, and things from other people's in here is out there. That's it. But if you're believing in those things, that's the illusion that Gautama Buddha was talking about when he said the man who sees life as an illusion escapes suffering. Okay? Which means, oh, I see the man-made invention. Okay, so the car is man-made, the truck is man-made, the building is man-made, the company is man-made, the system is man-made, the policy is man-made. This is God-made. Your dog is God-made. Your cat is God-made. So when you can separate the spiritual world from the physical world, you alleviate yourself from mental suffering. Okay, Bob Marley referred to it as mental slavery. Mental slavery. What's mental slavery? Mental slavery is when you're serving these physical man-made things. You can be in the world and not of the world. Okay? Because you can be in the world in here. Okay? And you can be the observer instead of the engager. Okay? You can still engage in physical activities in the physical world. Your body is the interface into the physical world. No problem. It's when the illusion happens and you start to align yourself with the physical world and forget that you are the spirit that lives in here. Then you start believing in these things out here. Then you start to identify with these things out here because your eyes look away from the kingdom. That's like if you want success, whatever you think success is. Everyone's perception of success is different. My idea of success is freedom. But whatever you think that is, if you look at the other guy, okay, you look across the street and you go, wow, Bob's got the boat, Bob's got the grill, Bob's got the house, he's got the swimming pool. Okay. And you start resenting Bob because you don't have any of those things. You start resenting Bob. Okay. Yeah, damn Bob. You see? You're never going to get those things. Why? Because there's resistance in you. Who put it there? You did. You put it here. Okay? You developed it all on your own. That's the emotional vibration. So what happens when you pray for the house, pray for the swimming pool, pray for the barbecue, pray for whatever Bob has, the boat, all that across the street, and you're praying for that now. But you resent Bob because he has those things. Are you going to get your prayers answered? No. Okay? This is why Jesus said, love thy neighbor as thyself. Okay? Not resent thy neighbor and then, go after what thy neighbor has. That's not what Jesus said. He didn't say anything like that. Neither did Krishna. Krishna never said anything like that. Krishna referred to the divine, the divinity within. The word namaste means the divinity in me salutes the divinity in you. Because divinity is in here. God lives in here. In me, in you, in everyone. Okay? Not everybody sees it that way. Because in order to see it, you need to go in the kingdom. Close your distractors because they look away from the kingdom. Close them like this. Go into the kingdom and be still so you can feel God. Some people tell me, well, I went in and I didn't feel anything. Of course you're not going to feel anything because you're desensitized because of all of this in the physical world. It takes a little time. Maybe 2 or 3 times. But you can only receive what's in your subconscious. Let me say it another way. You can only receive what you believe. Okay? So you have to change your beliefs about what it is that you want in your world. How do you do that? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. If you aim all 4 of these pillars at one thing, it has to happen. Okay? The how is God's job. God does the how. You don't do the how. Never mind the how. I never worry about the how. I don't even know how. I don't know how I'm going to get through this live. Okay? But the intuitive thought will come. That's what I believe. And somewhere along the line, there's going to be something that you click with and go, oh, okay. Yeah, let me check that out. Okay? And then you're going to go fact check me, or you're going to go study, or you're going to do something, or watch a video, or whatever, and learn more about it. Jay, please pin that comment one more time. Jay is our moderator on this platform here with our chat. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Okay, on a psychological level, kindness builds identity. Okay, the more kind you are to people. Okay. Oh, so Dakota, there's Janice. Hi, Janice. Think it, feel it, know it. Yeah, yeah. Because when you think it, you begin to feel it. When you begin to feel it, you begin to know it. Why? Because you feel it. There you go. Right? Thank you, Janice. Thank you, Janice. Thank you, Jay. So when you're kind to others, okay, especially those who already have, okay, what you desire, okay, Bob with the boat, the swimming pool across the street with a big house, okay, and the you know, the hot wife, all of that, whatever it is, okay? Even a smile brightens a person's day. Yeah, be kind. There you go. It's not about giving merchandise. It's about giving you. It's about giving your vibration. It's about giving your happiness. So yesterday we were talking about how to change a pessimistic attitude. Okay? How to become positive. Why? So you can be kind. If you're empty in here, okay? And I've had clients like that. I have a nurse that's been with me for 4 years. When she showed up, she was empty in here. She went through 17 years with a narcissist. That will empty you out. Okay? Ladies, if you've been with a narcissist before, you know what I'm talking about. And now she's full in here and she has a lot to give. She even told me she's kinder to her children. You see? So these things are important. Yes, that's right. Yeah, thank you. How can I feel better with my health and prosperity? Feel better with your health. Okay, watch what you're eating. Evaluate your diet. Look at your diet first. Okay, when people ask me, talk to me about their health, chances are they're eating too much sugar. Okay, look at your diet first. Diet fixes a lot of things, and it also reverses a lot of things depending on what it is. And you can write to me, and I can point you in the right direction. Okay, it's not going to cost you anything. Just write to me, junior@hereforyoulifecoaching.com. Okay, so let's say Bob has everything you want. You don't have any of it. Okay. I remember being in my early 20s and I used to see these guys in nice cars, and I used to go, right? Okay. Because I didn't understand. Okay. What didn't I understand? I did not understand that when you're happy for them, you're raising your vibration to their level. When you're happy for them. Okay, I worked around people that, would say, good for you. Like if something good happened, right? They would say, oh, good for you. And one day, one of the guys I worked with, he was talking about this other guy. He was a celebrity too. And he goes, he's not really wishing him well, right? And I'm like, no, I didn't know that. I thought he meant good for you. He goes, no, that's not what he means. He doesn't mean good for you. I'm like, oh, okay. Okay. But I learned to be happy for other people's success. You have to be happy for others' success. When something happens good for somebody, you see something, somebody's celebrating something, somebody's whatever, okay? You have to be genuinely happy for someone else's success. And you start to raise your vibration because you start to become on that wavelength. And then attaining whatever it is that you want, that they have, not their thing. I'm just talking like, Bob has a big house, right? He has a boat, he has a grill, he has all of that. You're looking at all of that, you go, wow, I want that too. Okay? If you're happy for Bob that he has those things, and you go, yeah, right on, good for Bob. He got there. He's there. Right? And then you work on yours. You get yours easier. You get yours faster. When I started becoming happy for other people's achievements, I started achieving more, like faster. It was crazy. It was crazy. I started getting national awards for stuff, like all this stuff. But I had to learn to be happy for other people's gains, right? And sometimes it's not easy when you don't have anything, when you don't have any gains, and you're looking at somebody else and they're achieving this, that, and the other thing, and everybody's praising them, right? It's difficult. But it's a mindset shift. And when you change your mind, you change your life. And as soon as I did that, and I started, like, hey, yeah, right on. I'm so happy for you. I started receiving. It's crazy, but it works. You need that grill? Thanks for the smile. Okay. Yeah. Good. Write an affirmation. I'm so happy and grateful now that I have, and then be specific about what kind of grill, and write it down. Get it into your subconscious. Okay? When you believe it in your subconscious, you can achieve it. Somebody might give you a grill. Okay, so that's the other thing. While I'm on the subject, because I go off here and there, I go, back and forth to wake you up. I do that for a reason. Okay, but since I'm on the topic, okay, if you think that money is the only way you can get something, you're suffering from limited thinking. Okay, it's not all about money. But if you're convinced that you cannot get that grill, okay, you can't get the grill. I'm talking about your grill. That you can't get the grill because you don't have the money for the grill? What if one of your friends bought a brand new grill, like the next model up or something, right? And then gave you his grill because you're his friend? There you go. Free grill. One of my clients got a free van that way. Because she came in because her van was breaking. Right? And I told her, here, write this affirmation. I am so happy and grateful now that I have my new van. Thank you. Write that for 2 months. And she wrote it for 2 months. And right around the 2.5 month mark, she comes in my office. She goes, you'll never guess what happened. I'm like, what? She goes, my friend's husband is in the military and he got his orders. He has to leave. He has to leave Hawaii. And she said, I can have their van. I just need to put it in my name. And I said, is their van new? She goes, no, about 10,000 miles on it. I'm like, well, there you go. And it was free. It was immaculate, like it was in immaculate condition. They took care of their stuff. Military, they know how to do things, right? They know how to take care of stuff. I mean, yeah, not all military people, but okay. But this van was like, it looked like brand new. Not a scratch on it. And she got that van for free. Okay. And she was thinking, I don't have enough money for the repairs. I don't have enough money to buy a new van. I'm stuck. Woe is me. Right? That kind of stuff. Okay. So don't think that money is the only way you can get something. I get free stuff all the time. Or maybe not all the time, but a lot. Okay. I don't really get around too much now. I work a lot and I work online. So I don't mix up with a lot of people like I used to. But everything comes to us from God through others, to other people. Okay? So when you're kind, your signal to your subconscious, okay, is abundance instead of limitation. When you're kind, your subconscious goes, oh, we're doing abundance. We're not doing lack. We're not closing up like this. We're opening up like this. And why is that important? Because you're 100% love in here. The energy you were born with, the spirit you were born with. You want to call it spirit, you want to call it energy, whatever you call it. You're 100% under, okay, under, at the root, okay, at base level, okay, underneath all these layers of drama, stress, anxiety, worry, fear, shame, guilt, okay? Underneath all of that. Now, some people stack is this big. Some people's stack is this big. Some people only have a stack this big. Okay? The people with stacks this big, I get them down like a couple sessions. No problem. Okay? But I work with hard cases a lot. Okay? I love the hard cases because when they transform, I'm like, whoa. Right? And you go and read all the 5-star reviews. We only get 5-star reviews. That's all we have. Here for You Life Coaching, Honolulu, Hawaii, on Google, and go and look at our Google site. Only 5-star reviews. I even forgot how many we have, but there's a lot. There's tons. Okay, but I work with military people with PTSD sometimes. I've worked with a lot of them. Okay, and what happens? Does it go away? No, it doesn't go away. But it becomes controllable. And they don't need medicine. Okay? Now, like I said, I don't make medical claims, but this is somatic healing. It heals your central nervous system, your parasympathetic nervous system. Through your voice, through vocal expression, through your voice. Very strong tones. Okay? So where they couldn't go in like a shopping center, they can't go in the shopping center. Why? They start to panic. There's too many people. Okay? Their nervous system is telling them there's a threat. Okay? Their amygdala starts to go, what if there's an ambush? What if? Okay? And when you've been in war, it's a real thing. It's serious stuff. Okay? But they can take deep breaths after that and go, okay, that's not it. It's not that. Relax. Got it. I got it. And they can move forward. And they can go throughout the mall. And they can do stuff that they never did. Okay? I had one veteran, a lady, she was a veteran, and she did about 7 or 8 months with me. Changed her whole world. And she didn't know if there was going to be anything that could help her because she was with a psychiatrist that was giving her all kinds of medicine. And it was, some of them worked for a little while and then switch, and then some of them worked, anyway, nothing against medicine or doctors or anything. But she stopped taking her medication when I finished working with her. But like I said, I make no medical claims, okay? But this vocalization exercise works on all of that. So affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. Today we're talking about kindness. Yesterday we talked a little bit about gratitude and how gratitude changes your brain chemistry. Okay, so when you say thank you, it's not just going nowhere. It's going in here, in the kingdom, in your kingdom. Okay, when you say thank you, it's registering in your subconscious. Everything you say, everything you do, everything you think, okay, everything, every action you do goes in your subconscious. And this is why actions become habitual. Okay, you do a certain walk for a while, then you just walk like that. That's how you walk until you change it. Okay, your speech patterns, everything. 95% of your life is subconscious. I specialize in subconscious reprogramming because it's not rocket science. But the first thing you have to do is you have to be pulled out of this societal hypnosis. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about that tomorrow. Because I always get questions like, okay, we saw your thing. Like, what is this societal hypnosis? I don't think I'm under hypnosis. Okay. Whether you realize it or not, things have been projected onto you that have eventually become beliefs. Okay? For example, if a company wants to run an ad, okay, the minimum is 2 weeks. Why? Because it takes 2 weeks to get in your subconscious. You ever hear the songs on the radio? They have a very short playlist, like 20, 23 songs, sometimes 20 songs. You hear the same songs over and over and over and over and over. Why? So that they become popular. Right? The first time you hear the song, you're like, it's alright. Second time you hear the song, and whatever. Okay. But the 8th or 9th time you hear the song in a couple of days, you go, that song's pretty cool. Okay. In 2 weeks, you're like, yeah, I love that song. I'm going to download that song. Okay. All right. We're human beings. We're very impressionable in our subconscious. Manifestation happens through your subconscious. 95% of your life happens through your subconscious. But the good news is, like a computer, okay, because a computer is modeled after the human being, you can program your subconscious. You can put programs into your subconscious. It takes 66 days to write a program into your subconscious. 66 days. So, on a psychological level, kindness builds an identity. You start seeing yourself as a kind person. What happens when you do that? You do more kindness, and then it's like nothing. You know, I thought I was learning to be kind and whatever, and my mom told me, no, you used to drive me crazy. You gave away all your toys. I'm like, I remember giving those kids my toys when I was a kid, because they didn't have toys, you know. And my mom was like, yeah, we buy you brand new toys, and you take them home, you know. But I never, I felt sorry for people that didn't have, you know. And I think we should give to people that don't have more. I do it all the time, but I give my time. The reason I give my time is that if I give my time to someone, they can benefit on the know-how. Okay? So if you give someone a fish, you know that old saying, if I give you a fish, you can have dinner. If I teach you to fish, you can eat for a lifetime. Okay, I like to teach people how to fish, because then they can do it on their own. They can do it for themselves. You know, I have students out there that have manifested some amazing careers. And it all started when they were 12, when they came to me. 12 years old. And I always tell them, you can have, do, or be anything. And when I say that, they think I'm selling them a pipe dream. They're like, what? No, really. When I explain it to them, when I pull them out of the hypnosis, okay, through their voice, then they can see, okay? You know, in the Bible, it says, they look, but they cannot see, okay? That's because of the hypnosis out here. That's because out here, they distract you into so many things, so you cannot see. Because you're confused. Because there's so many things to see visually, like this. But that's not how you see. Okay? You look in here. Close your distractors. Look in here. Seek in here. That's where you find. Because that's where you ask. Ask, believe, receive. You still display a big heart. Thank you for living by example. Oh, thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. Ask, believe, receive. Okay? For manifestation, I know it sounds like, rubbing the genie's lamp, right? And you get 3 wishes and, right? Like that. No. You have unlimited wishes. Is it magic? No. There's a procedure. Okay? The conscious mind asks, when you get it into the subconscious as a belief, okay, 66 days, how do you do that? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. It has to happen. So start your affirmation. I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm confident. Thank you. Why confidence? Because confidence is what you were born in. You were born into confidence. You ever see a little baby come out scared? No. Right? Baby is filled with love energy. Okay? The baby just gets hungry. Okay? And then life happens to the baby. Okay? Then the baby learns to get angry. It learns to get frustrated. It learns to get stressed out. It learns anxiety. It learns fear. Okay? These are all things that we learn in life. And all of these negative emotions start to stack up like that. Okay? And these are the things that stress you out. Okay? This produces anxiety. Tablets, computers, laptops, they produce anxiety. Okay? It's called screen time. I can't tell you how many teenagers I've detoxed from screen time. And they don't know that they need to be detoxed from it. They just know they like it. That's all they know. Okay, they know they like their video games. They don't know they need to be detoxed from it. They don't know that they need to be pulled out of it so they can see the big picture. Okay, because at that point they're like moths to a light bulb. Okay. So the good news is that when you look in here, when you seek in here, you will find. Okay? When you knock in here and the door will open. Okay? What's the fastest way to open the door? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. Okay? Jay is giving me the signal, and yeah, we've reached another end to our live. But if you put my name into any AI, into any browser search engine, and put teaching method after my name, you'll get everything. Okay? If you want a list of our companies, go look at Voicemaster Enterprises family of service companies. Okay, if you go to my Facebook account, those of you on my Facebook, and those of you here on my Facebook, the links to all of our company websites are on my Facebook profile. Okay, over here it's Here For You Life Coaching. Okay, and over here it's Here For You Life Coaching. Okay, so we shall see you guys. We're on 7 outlets every morning, 7 platforms, 2 Facebook platforms, and these guys over here I don't like to see. Yeah, awesome information. I'm glad you like it. Good day, user. Take care. Bye, Manuel. Take care. Hang on, you guys. Okay, so we'd like to say aloha and mahalo for joining us. Mahalo is thank you.